Well, I was being slightly unkind to him before about his age, because that comes to us all, there's no doubt about it. But
I think 34 is quite young, actually.
Yeah, but he's also media savvy.
He might not, but you and I did.
He knows he's not... He said nice things about United players, especially about Wayne Rooney. He knows how to play the media game, but that drive within him to have the career that he has at that level to this age, he is going to want to put on his Sunday best, isn't he, against United in front of Alex Ferguson?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he loves United. He still loves United. He still wishes he was at United, really. But, you know, he's a professional, and he's got his pride. His wages are getting paid at the moment by AC Milan. He'll want to go out and deliver for them. I don't think he'll milk the situation if he scores a fantastic goal from 25 yards. You know, I think there might be a bit of head down or a bit of that maybe. He won't be dancing around the pitch. He won't want to upset, overdo it, if you like, and upset the United fans, because...
He certainly won't be doing what Tevez did, will he?
No, I don't think so.
When he scored, I'm sure he'll be showing a bit more respect.
As you say, there's a different scenario there, isn't there? Because Tevez doesn't love Man United, David Beckham does.
I think the intriguing thing is that I think certainly for a lot of Manchester United fans who probably never got a proper chance to say goodbye to... they probably never got a chance to say goodbye to Beckham before he went to Real Madrid. I think they will absolutely, really want to give him a huge welcome back to Old Trafford when they play that return leg. And I spoke to Alex Ferguson a couple of weeks ago about this. He says for what Beckham did for United during those fantastic glory years in the late 90s, when they obviously won the treble as well, he thinks Beckham deserves to be given the kind of reception that is usually reserved for greats who've played at Old Trafford.
Do you put him up with the all-time United greats?
In terms of impact and so on, then I think you would do that. Obviously, Beckham became really the sort of star attraction of the players that came through. I think one of the fascinating things for me, though, is that you talk about this fixture and the players at AC Milan and the experience they've got and the age that they've got. And I think United, in a way, you can draw similar comparisons, because you have got ageing legs, obviously, in the United team. One of the players who's missing is Ryan Giggs, and how big a miss do you think he'll be in terms of just the experience that he can pass on to the lads?
I think that is a major miss. I mean Ryan, a bit like Bex, he's still, for his age, very fit, still very driven as well, as a word I used before about Beckham. Ryan Giggs just loves playing football, and he still plays it very well. And he brings a lot to the party when he plays for United. He's still got great energy, he's still got pace, his use of the ball is magnificent. And you're always going to miss a player like Ryan Giggs, particularly in a match like this, in the San Siro, huge match against top players. His experience would have been invaluable. But he's out, United have got to deal with that, and they've got a squad to deal with it.
What about the absence of Vidic? Because that partnership with Ferdinand was a real cornerstone. It looks as though it could break up in the summer, but if we keep it short-term for the moment, Steve, how big a miss will he be tomorrow night?
Well, he is a miss, Jim, but if you look at how United have coped without having either Vidic or Ferdinand, and quite often, for a long spell this season, both of them have not been there, United cope magnificently. They're still only a point behind Chelsea at the top of the table. OK, they're out of the FA Cup, but they're in the Carling Cup final in a couple of weeks' time. They're also in the last 16 of the Champions League. So I think they've coped magnificently. And the question you would then have to ask is, OK, if they get those two back in harness together for the last 4 months of the season, what's that going to do for United's title running?
Right, well, we'll come to that question in a second, if you can get them back. Who are you going to put alongside Ferdinand tomorrow is the short-term question.
Exactly the point I was going to make. Surely, the way that Johnny Evans has played this year, he's going to be more than capable of stepping into Vidic's shoes. No?
I agree with that. He's got the option of Johnny Evans or Wes Brown. I think he'll play Johnny Evans, and he's then got to decide whether or not he plays Wes Brown at right back. He's got 3 options there. Wes, if he plays Johnny alongside Rio, he's got Wes, he's got Raphael, and he's got Gary Neville still. So he's got 3 options there. No John O'Shea, unfortunately, at the moment, because he would have been the guy in the number 2 shirt. He has become United's first choice right back, or he had become before he was injured. But, there's options there, but I agree with you, Ian. I think Johnny Evans will play.
What about you, Steve? Who would you put in at right back, for example?
Well, I think that's an interesting point Paul's made there. It really is going to be, I think, very telling what Fergie does tomorrow. I know he's got huge kind of hopes for Rafael da Silva, the young Brazilian boy, and he may just feel that in the atmosphere of the San Siro, that would do wonders for the boy's confidence to play in that kind of a game again, the other side of it is, of course, that may be a slight risk and a gamble in such an important game, and he may opt for Wes Brown. I actually couldn't call that. I couldn't call it.
Right, you'll have to then.
Oh, I can't call it then either. If no one else can call it,
He'll probably play Gary Neville and make a fool of
If
us all.
Paul Hetherington reckons he's going to put Wes Brown at right back in,
How can we
Johnny
argue?
Evans,
How can we argue?
Although Wes Brown hasn't played at right back, has he, recently? Every time he's played, he's played at centre-half, so maybe that suggested it'll be Raphael who plays there.
But he has got vast experience, whereas the young lad, I know he's got massive potential, Steve, but to throw him in that kind of cauldron of AC tomorrow at San Siro,
it's a big ask. It's a big ask, but, you know, Alex Ferguson is not frightened of making those big decisions, is he? And to be honest, you know, the boy's obviously got fantastic... his temperament's absolutely brilliant for the big games.
He's a confident lad, isn't he?
You would have to say he's better going forward
he
than
likes
defending.
The ball as well. He doesn't hide, he wants the ball.
You'd have to say he's better going forward.
Well, yes, without a doubt.
And it may be that they might be under the cosh a little bit tomorrow night in the San Siro.
Raphael as well played in both games against City, obviously in the semi-final of the League Cup, which Sir Alex Ferguson treated as a real serious game. And also, you remember the derby at Eastlands last year in the league when Rubinho was on great form and Raphael again was the preferred option at right back that day.
I think he played in the Arsenal game as well at the Emirates recently as well. So, you know, Alex Ferguson's not afraid to pitch him into the big games.
Steve says there'll be a big statement for the future if he goes for Raphael. I think what he'll be basically saying there is, I've got total faith in this lad. We're playing AC Milan away in the Champions League. He'll do for me. And long term, he could then go on to become United's regular right back.
So we're going to be talking a fair bit more about United shortly, but it's time now for a quick break. Remember, we want to hear from you. Drop us a line today at channelm.co.uk.